You walked in for one thing. Maybe it was milk. Maybe it was a phone case. Maybe it was just to browse. You walked out with 6 things you didn't plan to buy. And somehow, every single time, you're surprised. This isn't a willpower problem. This isn't a discipline problem. This is your brain doing exactly what it was wired to do. Today, I'm going to show you the specific psychological bias that makes you overspend every time you shop. It has a name. It's been studied for decades. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Stay until the end, because the last thing I'm going to tell you will change how you shop forever. Meet the bias nobody warned you about. It's called the anchoring effect, and it is the single most powerful pricing trick ever discovered. Here's how it works. Your brain doesn't evaluate prices in absolute terms. It evaluates them relative to the first number it sees. That first number, whatever it is, becomes the anchor. And every decision you make after that is unconsciously pulled toward it. Here's a classic experiment. Researchers asked 2 groups of people to guess the percentage of African countries in the United Nations. Before guessing, one group watched a wheel of fortune land on 10. The other group watched it land on 65. The group that saw 10 guessed an average of 25%. The group that saw 65 guessed an average of 45%. Same question, completely random numbers, completely different answers. That's anchoring. Your brain latches onto the first number it sees, even when that number is totally irrelevant, and uses it as a reference point for everything that follows. Now imagine what happens when that number isn't random, when it's placed there intentionally, by someone who spent millions figuring out exactly how to use it against you. Let's walk through a shopping trip. You walk into a store. The first thing you see near the entrance? A $400 jacket. You're not going to buy it, but your brain just got anchored to $400. Now you pick up a $60 sweater. Feels reasonable, right? Almost cheap. Compared to $400, $60 feels like nothing. That jacket wasn't there to be sold. It was there to reset your sense of what normal spending looks like. This is called a price anchor, and every major retailer uses it deliberately. Now let's talk about the one you see every single day. The strike-through price $120 to $79. Your brain doesn't process this as this costs $79. Your brain processes this as I'm saving $41. You didn't save $41. You spent $79. But the anchor, that original crossed-out number, hijacked your brain before logic had a chance to kick in. Here's the data. Studies show that products with a visible strike-through price sell up to 240% more than the same product without one. Same item, same actual price, just a number crossed out above it. 240%, that's not marketing. That's neuroscience being weaponized. The just a little more trap. Anchoring doesn't just affect individual prices. It affects your entire budget. Here's a scenario you've probably lived through. You go to buy a car. The base model is $28,000. The salesperson shows you the fully loaded version, $41,000. You say no. But then they offer you the mid-range, $33,000. Suddenly, $33,000 feels almost reasonable. Because you've been anchored to $41,000, you came in thinking about $28,000. You leave spending $33,000, and you feel like you got a deal. This same technique works in restaurants. Expensive items at the top of the menu make everything else seem affordable. It works in real estate. Showing you an overpriced house first makes the next one feel like a bargain. It works in online shopping. The premium plan on every pricing page exists primarily to make the standard plan feel cheap. Every time you think, well, it's only a little more than X, anchoring is happening. Here's why this works so deeply. Your brain processes numbers the same way it processes physical objects. When you pick up something heavy and then pick up something light, the light object feels lighter than it actually is. Your hand recalibrates based on what came before. Prices work identically. A $50 item feels expensive after seeing $30 items. The same $50 item feels cheap after seeing $200 items. The price didn't change. Your brain's reference point changed. Neuroscientists have shown that the anchoring effect activates the same reward circuits as physical sensation. It's not a cognitive mistake you can think your way out of. It's happening below conscious awareness, in the same part of the brain that processes hunger, temperature, and pain. This is why willpower doesn't work against it. You can't willpower your way out of a neurological response. You need a system. How to protect yourself. Here's exactly what to do. Rule 1. Ignore the original price. When you see a strike-through price, cover it mentally. Ask only one question. Is this item worth what it actually costs today? Not what it used to cost. Not how much you're saving. What is it worth right now to you? Rule 2. Shop with a number, not a feeling. Before you enter any store, physical or online, decide your maximum spend. Write it down. That number becomes your anchor, not theirs. When you anchor yourself first, their anchors lose power. Rule 3. Wait 24 hours on anything unplanned. The anchoring effect is strongest in the moment. It fades with time. If you see something you didn't plan to buy, wait 24 hours. If you still want it tomorrow, it might be a genuine desire. If you forgot about it, that's your answer. Rule 4. Ask compared to what. Every time your brain says something is cheap or expensive, ask yourself what it's being compared to. What was the anchor? Was that anchor real? Was it relevant? Usually the answer is no. These 4 rules cost you nothing. They take seconds, and they can save you thousands every year. Here's the truth nobody in retail wants you to know. The prices you see are not designed to reflect value. They are designed to shape perception. Every number, every crossed-out price, every sale sign, it's a carefully engineered environment built to make you spend more than you planned. You're not weak for falling for it. You're human, and now you know how it works. The next time you feel like something is a great deal, pause. Ask yourself, great deal compared to what? Who set that comparison? And is it real? That pause is worth more than any coupon, any cashback app, any budgeting spreadsheet. Awareness is the only defense that actually works. Next video drops Tuesday. We're covering the reason why people who get a raise, a bonus, or a windfall end up exactly where they started within a year. It's called the hedonic treadmill, and it's the invisible force that keeps people financially stuck no matter how much they earn. Subscribe. You don't want to miss this one. If this hit you, like and share. This is exactly the kind of thing they don't teach in school. Help someone else see it too.